Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Priscilla Phillips, and in this video I will be addressing I will be talking about feelings, um, particularly feeling to address emotions feeling to address emotions and sharing how that has been for me, sharing my observation about feelings, not just for myself, but also what I have been able to um, witness with others. And one of the very fundamental, um, one of the very fundamental lesson, or say wisdom, when it comes to my experience with my feelings, with my emotions. It has been one of the greatest decisions that I constantly make. And I have come to see how it's helped me articulate myself, my feelings, my emotion better. Like I am more articulated when it comes to my feelings. Communicating is different from communicating your feelings. And when we put this conversation when I put this conversation in the Nigerian space, it is very foreign for a lot of people, those that I have encountered, those that I have met, um, and this is why in the past, a lot of people who we misconstrued me from that perception, we say, "Oh, Priscilla is angry." Um, some of them use angry, but the most accurate ones who my focus are on, we say Priscilla is very passionate. Priscilla wears her emotions on her sleeves. And I have met somebody one time in my recent past that said that I am not, I don't have emotions. I'm like, OMG, that's a new feedback. And that's one person in my entire life. I tell you, in my entire 37-year-old life, one person says, "Oh, I don't have emotions." Meanwhile, I am somebody who people will always say, "Oh, Priscilla is sensitive, Priscilla is intense, Priscilla is passionate," and I meet one person who looks at me, projects her own insecurity as my own. And that's why this conversation is very, very um, intriguing for me as well, because over the many observation or the many witnessing I have encountered with other people's, how other people navigate themselves and their feeling, I have seen that many would usually demonize their feelings. Many will usually demonize themselves and say, "Oh, I'm not perfect." Um, and then the nobody's perfect gang people, and, "Oh, I'm flawed. Oh, I'm imperfect." Like all of these words you say to yourself, first of all, you are encoding them into your being. Okay, so you would be what you say that you are. I, for one, do not resonate with any form of imperfection. When people say they are imperfect, I don't resonate with that. I see myself as perfect, because how would you tell me especially those you who are Christians, that your God is a perfect God, that you were wonderfully, fearfully made and created from this perfect God, and all of a sudden you are the same person who is saying that you are imperfect, that you are flawed, that you are this, that you are all that. Of course, you're going to be that over time, because that is what you will constantly be in your manifestation, affirmative words to your own self. And day in, day out, year in, year out, you keep saying that. Hello, you're going to keep doing behaviors that would constantly affirm what you're speaking of yourself. I didn't write this. Oh, I might have been the one that wrote this laws, because the laws and the principles of the universe, it's just simple as cause and effect. You plant mango, you get mango, right? So if you keep saying you are flawed and you're imperfect, it means that you are already saying that I am not going to invest myself in being better. But that's a conversation for another video. This video is feelings, and how I have seen people demonize feelings. I remember having a conversation with Oluwatoni, and he expressed how anger is an issue. Like, and he was literally, practically demonizing anger in my presence. And I looked at, I love to listen to things like this. I listen. I'm a listener typically. And that's why it's easier for people to just pour and share. And so, and I said, well, anger is not, it's not an evil emotion for me. It might be for you. But for me, anger is the purest of emotions there is. And he is a Christian. He goes to Daystar, by the way. And I'm like, oh, but there's several parts of the Bible that God was angry. When, like, and then Jesus was angry at the temple when he came and put those things out. But did he hurt anyone? No. So anger for many people, and this is not the first time I've had conversations like that with other people, sharing their own perspective of how they see, the various fields of emotions and how they navigate themselves with their feelings. And when he said that, I'm like, of course, you ought to demonize it, because you run away from expressing anger. You run away from expressing so many of your emotions and feeling. Why? Because you are the one demonizing it. You are the one saying all the things that you're ashamed when it comes to associating with your feelings and emotions of any kind. And that includes lust, right? And in my observation of feelings, how I navigate it and how other people navigate it, I have always seen that those who dismiss, who deny their emotions, are the ones to always get into trouble with those same emotions. So it does make total sense why they will constantly demonize it. Why? When you don't feel your emotions to address it, you're going to definitely run into a problem with yourself, because you have not been practicing how to better navigate your emotions. You have not been practicing better navigating how or what those emotions are telling you. I've had so many stories of people who just randomly kiss people without their consent. And I've always wondered, because it happened to be once, like 2000 and, I think 2013, 14 or 11 thereabouts. Had a late night. Where did I go to? I think I went to an event or a club that is connected to my clients. I always, whenever you see me partying in the past, it's always work related. That's the only time you see me. I'm a fun person in the house. I am not somebody who likes to share my phone with other people. So if I have to even share my phone publicly, I have to either be all by myself or have specific people who I trust their energy space and their person. Why? You're not just going to get drunk and start misbehaving. You're not going to take a smoke and start misbehaving. You're not going to do all of this if you know you're going to be that, don't do it. Why? Because these things only bring out who you are on the inside. Before I completely digress. And so that's the only time you see me in all of these, parties and night. I like the nightlife, by the way, especially how it relates to work. So I love it. And so this guy just randomly just were in the car because I slept in the car with him till daybreak. It was in Mende, Maryland. And so, and then I'll head home. I'm like, what? I pushed him away. I was still in my 20s. I'm like, so since then, I have always wondered what is the thought process and that led to that behavior. I have just been so obsessed to know what led to that, because I will never fucking ever go that stupid with somebody. And this is the thing I have also seen, is that people who don't feel their feelings to address it with themselves first will always project it on other people and assume that is what maybe that other person wants, or something out of character. And so whenever you see people, or whenever I have seen people who have just done those things, and they're usually the same people who claim, oh, I'm spontaneous. No, you're not. You lack regulation. You fucking lack regulation. That's the only reason you will see somebody that you never discussed any emotional, any romantic interest with, and just force a kiss or try forcing a kiss on them. I've had this come from a woman as well, who had done the same thing to another woman. And I know this is very probably prevalent in the heterosexual space. Okay. I don't know much about the queer space in that, but I do know that there are a lot of unregulated queer people too, because if you watch my video, I talked about how queer people can be abusers, sexual violators, and offenders as well, because hey, it's also happened to me. And it caused an uproar on Facebook, especially with the case that happened in Ghana with Gaga. And I'm like, first of all, I corrected you when you were making sexual jokes in my presence. We don't even know. What the fuck? Like, what? This? How do you get from there? What makes it feel okay? And it's some passively, indirectly, projected. And then you not go as much as sexual assault, that you touch me physically without my permission, you touch my boobs. That is a huge offense. And a lot of people on Facebook that year was like, oh, I thought you were less. I thought we were less. I thought you were D. How come you? I'm like, when did being a lesbian or being queer or being a gay woman ever mean that another same sex or a same sex or another woman can touch me without my permission? When did that mean that? You see where a lot of not just misinterpretation, but lack of complete understanding of things forge people's reality. And when you forge such reality out of lack of understanding, out of not understanding what the essence of that thing is, or the purpose, or the use of it, or the correct definition, you're going to end up manifesting a faulty, flawed reality. OML. That is, oh my God, that is, wait a minute. I've just hit something now. So oh gosh. Ooh. So, whenever you misinterpret things, you do not get the correct definition and interpretation of their definition and essence and truth or purpose, or the why behind their design, you are only going to manifest a flawed reality. And so this is why people, again, who demonize and deflect, dismiss, and deny their emotions are the same people who label emotions as evil. Because practice is supposed to make perfect, or as the new expansion of that quote is that practice makes progress. However, I like to say practice makes mastery. Practice makes mastery. For those who get triggered by the word perfection. And you need to also understand that when we talk about perfection, I personally am constantly talking about perfection from the divine's perspective. Where have you ever seen God deliver? And if we all say God is perfect and in perfect timing, when has that ever happened without it going through a lot of zigzag, a lot of completely unlogical, completely not straight line, and then you still leads you to the right desired and beyond desired expectation? Exactly, that's the whole point of perfection. And so in this place of feelings and navigating yourself, for me is why I have been able to have the boundaries I've been able to have from day one. This is why a lot of people then will say, Priscilla, you're too strict, you're too serious. And I say, every time I have heard people say this to me, when you look into the lives of those people saying this thing, they do not have any form of control over their emotions. It is the reason why they would demonize it, because they have never lived in the presence of the relationship between them and their feelings in real time within themselves. And so half of the time they're always projecting it. You're projecting that somebody likes you. You're projecting that somebody wants to kiss you. Somebody wants to have sex with you. You're projecting that. I feel lost. I love my feeling of lost, by the way. Who was I telling? Oh, I've said it in a video here. I also said it to somebody in the training space. I don't negotiate my feelings. I don't play with my feelings. My feelings is primary one as my personal uniqueness, my individual uniqueness and design. My feelings is top priority. Emotionally, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, all intertwined. Bringing all that as one, as I have achieved. And so I always have to feel my feelings. What is this bringing my attention to? Just like we all know, not everything that looks beautiful that means that you have to touch. Not every woman you see you have to fuck or have sex with or have intercourse with. Not every man you see you have to have intercourse with. This is where this flawed premises and flawed reality of men in general, be it heterosexual or otherwise, but specifically within the heterosexual space, men who say their nature is to be dogs. How can a high being, high fucking infinite intellectual being come and say such thing of themselves? It's because that's what they want to manifest. QED, baby. This is time I do this a lot. Who? It is what you want to manifest that you would confess. Ooh, did I catch some? Ooh, did you see that poetry going on there? It is what you want to manifest that you confess, you profess, you affirm, and you embody. And so when every time I look at myself and I'm saying I am perfect, I am God, I am Lord, I am this. That's what I want to constantly go from glory to glory, perfection to perfection of myself and all of my own uniqueness and design. Autistic or unautistic, don't change anything. I am flawless. If you come close, you can hear the sound of the glittering over me. Ding, ding, ding. Like I am I am the diamond of the diamond. So this is the same. Remember, the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. So if you're somebody who always demonize your emotions, it means that you're somebody who run away from addressing your emotions. Now, what is the focus of this conversation for me is that I have just learned that, when you don't feel your feelings to address it, you're only going to what? Project it. This is where all these unhealthy part of emotions that people constantly define humanity with. Oh, humans are not no, you are not perfect. How many of the humans in the entire world have you experienced to be able to make such a vague, fucking, unrealistic, unaligning confession? Wait, what's the evidence? What's the what's the logic behind such statement? I am perfect and flawless. And so for every time, again, that what I've seen, and it's so true, every time that you refuse to address your emotions, you are only going to end up piling up that emotions and then projecting it in the way it will show up. This is a moving conversation within myself, and so I'm unraveling it right here, but I can catch on it because there are other body of fundamental truths that connects to it. So when you feel your emotions, people, if you hear a lot of the time, people would say, oh, don't feel your emotions, when you something around don't feel too much, or some I can't recall those funny quotes. But within the workspace, that's why you don't have empathy in the workspace. You don't have all of these things that should not just help you navigate or align, but also help sustain the ecosystem of our soul security, or our emotional security, the ecosystem of our emotional security, right? You go to some places, the place is not safe. What does that term, what does it mean? If a place is not safe, it's because the majority of the energy fields there, which is the human beings, are people who do not feel their feeling. And then some people say, oh, when you feel your feeling, you get into trouble. No, when you feel your feeling, the other next second step is you're feeling your feeling to address it with who? With yourself. Because, for example, in a place of lust or sexual desire, there is nothing wrong you having sexual desire. It's your body. Just like the vagina gets wet because of the biological process that's going on within that space. It has nothing to do with, oh, okay, she wants to have sex. Because I've heard people, it's so stupid, by the way. I've heard people who use those terms, oh, she was wet, doing, rape apologies. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? That is a biological body. It already has an ongoing system that keeps every part of itself lubricated. So a vagina lubricating itself, all of a sudden, to some people who are always singing how flawed and imperfect they are, has come to mean that the woman wants the rape. You see where, again, let's go back to what I said earlier on. When you do not get the correctness of something, you do not interpret it properly and correctly, you do not know or come to understand and understand the design essence, you're only going to manifest a what? A flawed reality. And that is why I have said from day one, for those people who are going to explore themselves with manifestation, thanks to Esther Hicks, Abraham and Esther Hicks, for fleshing out those truths. You must first know what you want for what you don't want. Now, I'm having this different conversation, and to say you must know what is what. Correct. What is, whatever the case is. Because if you want perfection, there are characteristics that comes with that. And it doesn't have anything to do with poker facing. Being perfection, number one characteristics of being a perfect person in whatever you do and just being a perfect being, existing and breathing, is that you are what? You are constantly vulnerable with the truth. You're vulnerable with yourself in a place of truth. What does that mean? You don't lie, you don't dismiss things. That's why a lot of you would deny in the place of saying you want to manifest. People can play with that term deny, but there's an appropriate way to use things. Just there's a way to use hunger. It might have adaptability features, but the primary purpose of a hanger is to hang your clothes. It's to hang your clothes. Then when you do not see that that essential design or intention of it, you are going to only have a flawed reality again. So you end up not manifesting that thing you want to manifest. A lot of people want to manifest things, but their character is not even in alignment with what that manifestation would gravitate towards. Because we're magnets, right? There has to be alignment. Again, cause and effect. Cause and effect. Gravity is still going to be gravity, no matter what you are. For those people who are flying, I'm a big fan of DC and Marvin, okay? So, there are principles that their superpowers know how to navigate or conjure or manipulate out of themselves in alignment with what exists in terms of principles. I can bend a principle. I can break a principle. I can smith a principle. I can do whatever the fuck I want to do with it because I understand the essential purpose of it. So for whoever built airline and an airplane had to first understand gravity. Does that fucking make sense? You can't jump the gun. So that's the same thing. Before you go spreading your legs, open your vagina to want to have sexual experience, know the first basis, know the fundamentals. And for you to know the fundamentals, you have to come of certain age. You see where the age thing and sex comes in place? You have to know the fundamentals of it. Because we have children giving back to children. The child that is giving back to the child is yet to even develop. The child that is giving birth to another child has trauma that they haven't addressed. So that is like the rawest form of what? Of repeating whatever generational curse you already have within your lineage. Patterns is what we call traumas. Because you didn't address, you don't even know if they exist or not. You see where the appropriation of sex comes to place. You see why as a man and as a woman, as a girl and as the boy, you abstain from sex up to a certain age, because scientifically our brains start to develop from 25 years up. So anything below then, your brain never grow. Now imagine that as an autistic or divergent. It can play out in different ways. Some of us are way ahead, but our physical body is catching up. These are the things you need to know. These are the things you need to know. So when I see people jumping the gun, it's because they have not addressed it with themselves. That's why consent is still foreign to a lot of people, and even in the LGBT plus community, they don't understand consent. Again, I have been approached inappropriately, assaulted by a same-sex person. And apparently, these women are always people who are either bisexual or they just came out from a heterosexual relationship. It's kind of, for me, like the heterosexual space is filled with so much forcefulness, no agreement. Because sex, you have to agree. That's why that's the only way you can have tantric sex. Like sex in a soul level. I can't have any other sex but that. Because you have not addressed yourself. You don't know yourself. You don't even know anything that you want to. Because in sex, it's not collecting and just giving. You both dancing. And that means that you both understand the dance and the step and the whatever you guys are dancing to. which is what makes rape a big fucking crime and sin before man and God. Because even God, who created us, who you all claim created all humanity, does not force themselves on us. That's why we have free will. The presence of free will is the very, very truth of God. That God will never force itself on you, whether you think it's a he or a she. God will never force themselves on anyone. It has to be a constant agreed relationship at every point in time. You have to be the one surrendering it, or you have to be the one inviting them, or you have to be the one collaborating, partnering. It always has to be an agreement. So why the fuck would anybody even preach the concept of chasing after a woman? Is what I will never, not interested to even explore beyond what I have done with those who believe in this. Because the precepts of the divine is there to tell me what is the appropriate beingness or existence of things. I love my loss. When I see my loss, I explain it. I sit down with myself to feel it so I can address what does this mean. I felt this with this kind of person, or this happened. What did this mean in this time? And before you know, over that time, it begins to what unfold itself. Before I'm like, this is why I am grounded in my person. This is why I can stay all to myself. This is why I am not validated by another person's compliments. Because what do you know about me beyond what you see? So I am not somebody who lives on the surface. You will never catch me there. I am somebody who is always seated in the depth of the coolness of the divine. So if you want to align, it's not about finding me. If you want to align with me, you got to be somebody who's from the depth. Not just from the depth and plane. You're in the depth, grounded. This is why I have no fear of my feelings. Because I address it immediately. This is why I have become interested in the places I've become, to understand what leads what to what. What is the behavior that forms this, the thought patterns that forms this behavior or this character or this mindset. Because when I catch it and see the pattern, I can reverse it. This is how I forge or acclimatize the principle. Because the principle is very infinite and dynamic. Once you just know what to know, getting around it, getting within it, getting playing, like just romancing yourself with it will be sweet. Okay? Sex is a place where you want to even what? It's a creational energy. I call it the God energy. So a lot of you, again, who is forcing people to come and create with you, is why you produce the kind of result you produce. The flawed results. You have flawed results you're constantly producing. So you will never ever get the concept of the perfection of the divine, because you're constantly creating flaws. By what? Not first seeking to understand the principle and the essence, design, or existence of things. That's why God will never respond to a lot of people, so to say, or they will never receive. Because you're not even asking appropriately. Appropriation, correctly, doing things correctly has nothing to do with right and wrong, because you can be doing a correct thing and it is looking wrong. Remember, for those who are mature to this level, is that you already understand that wrong or right are what? Are dependent on the individual. Because what is wrong for you might be right for me. Take a big example for those who are new to this school of thought. Approaching me without my consent is never ever okay with me. It's disrespectful, it's wrong, it's everything. Why? Because I understand the place of things. And you don't have to do too much. You don't even have to do anything. You just need to align. And when you align, open sesame, the door just opens. But a lot of you you're not in alignment and you want the door to open. You're not using the right key. You're not using the correct key. Right or correct key, depending on how you're playing it. Or you're applying it rather. There's certain things that are correct with me as a unique being, as a different fingerprint. There are certain things that are right with you. For something I don't chase, I will never chase a woman. Never. And even before I came in contact with my design, in terms of human design, thanks to the creator of that, I was correct, I was accurate, because I have always knew I am slow, my frequency. I have always knew that I have to attract something first. I bring them close to me and then see, okay, And because I'm an air sign, I would just like to explore, like, okay, this. And that's where I am very big on analysis. Dissecting. When I dissect the thing, oh goodness, even me, I begin to feel my libido. I begin to feel sensual. I'm a knowledge and truth seeker. I'm freaked about that. Because I'm not just psychosexual, I'm also demisexual. And this is why I will only be attracted to people, to human beings, based on character. If you don't have character, you just break your head. Because you just keep getting rejected upon your own self, not force doing the work first. And that's where all my strong willingness come from. My strong will. I've always been that. It's because I know the essence of things. So before you catch me act and means, it's rare. It's because I need a lesson. The divine wants to teach me something, particularly with an example, because I learn practically as an autistic person. I learn with practice. Also as a Gemini, I learn practically. Knowledge is practical. It's not just theory. It's practical. So before you go jumping the hopes and jumping gravity and trying to fly, understand that it's gravity first, so you don't break your legs. So these are the things that has to do when it comes to feeling. This is just an intro to this conversation. There's going to be more and more conversations around this. But the first and first is that your feelings are not evil. Your feelings are not bad. Well, bad and good are the same. They're just conducts. They're just both energies. There's nothing evil about being bad, because good can be evil as much as bad can be evil. Get it? What makes those polarity energies or polarity conducts or elements is the energy you fuel into them, the intention that you fuel into them, that determine what is what. And so that being said, is that if your feelings are not evil, they're not demonic, they're not anything. And speaking about demon, you are the one that created the demon. But yeah, that's an advanced conversation. There's nothing wrong with your feelings. It only becomes a problem to you because you never addressed it. And because you never addressed it, you never unfolded what it was showing you or pointing to you. I said one thing one time on my TikTok. I said your feelings are first your own. Your feelings is your own. Your lust, your sexual desire has nothing to do with me. Your sexual desire has nothing to do with another human being. It is your own. So if you're going to share with somebody that you are sexually nkewa, you have to first understand that are you in a permitted and mutual space to even talk about sexual conversation with this person? You see the step by step, you see the different stage that a lot of people just jump. There has to be that mutual space, that agreed already, that foundation that, okay, this person is somebody I can share my sexual feeling with. And what is that kind of foundation when it comes to pointing it to a relationship? It's a romantic relationship. If you are my partner, for example, as a queer woman, that, of course, you sharing your sexual feelings to me every day is